And one of the reasons I wanted to win was genuinely like, okay, is Jaime gonna interview me if I win this event? And then we got to the finals. I'm like, okay, if I lose to him, I'm probably getting the interview anyway. We're good. We're fine. We're frosty.
We're frosty. No, I appreciate you. What's up, amigos? Commander Jaime here today. Today I have an exciting interview to do with Ty Smith. Ty Smith is actually the one that I faced in the finals, and he's a very excellent player. So go ahead and say hi, and also mention the deck that you played at the event too.
Fantastic. Yeah, as we all know already, my name is Ty Smith. I am from the Chicagoland area. I got second place at BCS Rosemont, as we heard, and I did it using a very spicy version of Eradicator. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna put the list so people can see that, and then I'll also put a picture of myself when I was reading one of those weird cards. That's a spicy type.
One of those funny little armor break things.
Yeah, you'll get more into it for sure, and your deck profile is very solid. So for those that don't know, Ty Smith is also a YouTuber. And so you want to talk a little bit about that, your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so I'm a YouTuber, as in I make content for like a few months and then I get bored and then I stop making content and then I make content again and then I get bored again. And so like it's kind of an off and on thing, but like whenever I like have the time and get the mood to put a video out, I put a video out. But I felt like that this deck profile for Eradicator I wanted to do like one of those Solemn Vanguard hour-long deck profiles where like he goes into the card choices for every single individual card, you know?
Yeah. It did remind me of that, actually.
Oh yeah, no. I actually, but literally before I recorded it, I actually sat down. I'm like, how do I want to do this deck profile? I know, and I actually rewatched the entire Solemn deck profile, all 1 hour of it, because I'm like, this is the vibe I want to hit. These are the in-depth explanations I want to hit. This is what I want to be doing. So I'm gonna soak in the vibes, soak in the vibes for when we recording. Soak in the Solemn. Yep.
That's awesome.
Absorb your daily dosage of Solemn Vanguard. Yep.
I know, right? I'll put in your social media at the end too, so that way people know how to find you and everything. So
perfect. Yeah.
I know you mentioned where you're from, the Chicago area. Do you have like a community or locals? Anything you want to talk about on that?
I got two actually. I got Gamers World. I got Gamers World Old Orchard, and I got Card Fighters Underground. Those are the locals that whenever I get a chance, whenever I'm in town, I like to go there, play a few games. Underground is where I got a shop challenge victory with Revan in premium of all formats. Old Orchard is where I got a few homies back there that we got a lot of good games in premium in. It's always a good time down at locals, and I think that Nerd Rage Gaming, back when they had overdress locals, was where one of my favorite memories of Vanguard ever happened, where someone bought a box of set 2 in D format, and they're like, I'm gonna get the DSR, and they didn't get it, and so someone else bought a box and went, I'm gonna get the DSR, and he didn't get it. And so I went, I'm gonna buy 3 boxes, and I didn't get the DSR. Now I want you to imagine this process going for the next 3 hours until we've burned through, I wanna say, $1,500 worth of boxes and still no DSR. We were chanting DSR,
and nothing.
Nothing.
Aww.
None of
I
it.
thought it was like,
The manager literally brought out like an entire second case. He's like, "You boys want to go round 2?" We're like, "No, we bought enough boxes."
That's funny. Like, it's crazy.
It was great. No, that's my favorite memory of any locals I've ever been to. But the people from those 3 locals, I'll give some shout outs later, but they're the guys that helped me get it, I want to say, into the Vanguard spirit, you know?
Definitely. No, I'll shout on that too as well, because I've been to Card Fighters Underground multiple times, especially for like qualifiers too. It's like the place to like qualify for something.
Oh yeah, love those guys. Love those guys.
So awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And so I guess we'll start getting into more of the meat. So for the BCS, why Narukami? Why Armor Break Dragon? Why are some of these like things that you considered into going into the event?
So my Vanguard career, let's call it, is there's a lack of tops, but mainly because there's a lack of events on my resume. I haven't actually played in that many events, if only because I don't really have money to travel, and so the only events I really go to are the ones in the Chicagoland area, and those only happen like twice a year. Team League, you can't really reliably get tops on unless all of your teammates are God tier and have God tier luck, which, you know, we would have been if we had that Team League. You know, we would have been God tier if we had that Team League.
Oh yeah. You want to mention that a little bit?
Oh yeah, no, me and this guy right here, and Karan Patel, well, all three of us were going to be in a team league for that Spring Fest where COVID happens. We were going to be unstoppable. But then nah, that got canceled. That was really unfortunate.
I know. And what's funny is that I didn't even know who the other player was, and then we just found out today, like, oh, you're the other player.
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
So
no, but my resume for Vanguard, my resume for Vanguard doesn't really have many events. But I'm like, okay, it's been COVID. This is the first regional since 2019 where I went X2 with Luard, and I only did that because I had a misplay. If I don't misplay, I could have gone X1. I'm feeling really confident. I want to top this event. Right. I want to win this event, maybe. That's a long shot, but we'll get there when we get there. So I was talking with a friend of mine, Sage from MCC. He talked to me over Discord about what potential decks I could be looking at. I talked to Karan as well about what decks I should look forward to. And the conclusion was Ripple was the deck to beat. Yep. Ripple was the deck that you had to worry about. And I really didn't want to play Ripple myself, if only because when you go into an event, you have to keep a consistent amount of brain power going. And it could be because I have a brain the size of a walnut, but I don't think my brain could potentially handle playing Ripple for 7 rounds in a row, And so I'm like, okay, Narukami is a clan I know very well. It is a clan that I've built religiously. It's my second favorite clan in the game, first being Link Joker, but that clan will never be good. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna play Narukami here. In testing, we entertained the idea of Armor Break Dragon at 3.
Okay.
And originally it was a joke. We're like, there's no way this card is good. I played 3 games into Ripple and went, oh my god, no way, this is actually amazing. Hold on, this actually just auto wins the matchup.
Do you want to mention what it actually does so people actually know?
Yeah, so Armor Break Dragon is a card, for those of you who don't know. It counterblasts 3, which is a very, very hefty cost for a card in the modern day. But in doing so, it binds the entire front row. Now, you may ask, why not just go into Stunverse and wipe the board that way? But that's because Armor Break Dragon then gets 10k and 2 critical for every empty front row circle that the opponent has. So if you're facing against an Excel deck, or a deck like Ripple, which makes a ton of Excel markers, that's going to be plus 14 critical and plus like 80k or something like that. He has a second skill though. If you're at 4 or more damage when he attacks, he gets 10k and your opponent can't use Sentinels. Given that Ripple will push you to 4, Armor Break will always be hitting for a very big number with no Sentinels active, and that's just game right there.
You can literally one-shot them, which is insane just thinking about it too.
It came up in about, I want to say 60% of my games in the actual regional. It actually is the reason I won a good 60% of them.
That's amazing that it worked out for you.
Which is a crazy percentage for a card that we thought was going to be a joke,
Yeah, I remember just reading the card when you searched it, and I was just like, wait, what is this card? And it's just like, I had to read it twice because people were laughing in the background. It was like, oh, he's reading the card. I'm like, okay.
Oh, he's reading the card.
I'm like, what's so? And then I'm like, wait, what? Let me read that again.
I'll be real with you. I think adding it off the Mighty Bolt Dragoon and letting you read the card is why I lost.
Well, I didn't even know, like, how am I going to get over this? Like, I have to win next turn. That's basically my mentality at that point, but go ahead.
There was a second for a minute where I was like, do I reveal this and add it to hand? Because if I show this, he's going to read it. He's going to read it, and the plan is ruined. If I show this, he's going to read it. There was a second of hesitation. I went, nope, it's not in my hand. I need it. Let's let him read it. Yeah, but because of that,
got good results from it. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of really good results from that. Armor Break was absolutely what sold me on bringing Eradicator in, mainly because Eradicator also has an auto win against MFD, and so I have a lock-in against 2 of the best decks in the format. So all I have to do is worry about beating all the fair decks. And riding Sweep Command and striding Exterminate usually beats all the fair decks.
Yeah, but Exterminate does a lot of work, and even Stunverse. You have 2 solid strides, like for Narukami.
Very powerful cards.
So solid.
It's compensation for the worst stride ever printed in Premium Collection 1.
Wait, what does it even do?
Did you know that we had a stride in Premium Collection 1?
No.
Nobody does. It doesn't exist. It's so bad.
I didn't even know, actually. I thought Stunverse first.
It binds a card on their field for every card in their bind zone. So like it's a second stride in a deck with a bad first stride.
Yeah.
And so they were like, fine, you can have Stunverse. And I'm like, yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Wow.
Yep.
So basically Ripple was the deck to beat, and then it also had a good matchup with MFD too. So, talk about a little bit about your matchups too. Like, how did it go for you during that day?
Yeah, so I can go through my matchup history actually rather quickly because a lot of them usually just boil down to armor break for game. In round 1, I fought Flagberg Mega Colony, which was a matchup that I never actually had tested for. I did test for Shield Fisher, but I never tested for Flagberg. And so that matchup was usually mainly decided by Ride Sweep Command, Bind Front Row, Stride Exterminate, Die. But my opponent was a very cool guy. We had a very fun game. In round 2, I fought MFD. And that was a really interesting matchup because I ended up having access to 3 impedes on his own turn. It was really gross.
That hurts my
it was
soul.
Nasty. Even 2 impedes would have done it, but I'm like, nah, I gotta drop the 3rd one. But basically, he did do something really smart, which would have worked in any other scenario. He put the smoke gear in the back row center rear guard circle. That way, Bulwark couldn't hit it, and that way, any of my unrulies or other things probably wouldn't have been able to hit it either. But unfortunately, in doing so, with the impedes, I had knocked out his entire front row, and so when he drew for turn, he was forced to stride into history build rather than Schlishma. And so his push on his extra turn wasn't as powerful, and I was able to survive, and you would never guess it, he had no hand. I went armor break for game. 5 damage right there, nothing he can do about it. In round 3, I fought Albert Hong from WCC. That was a really fun game. I gave him 1 damage. He rode Valios and didn't use skill, because if he did, he wouldn't have been able to use any of his damage extenders that I saw he had added to his hand. And so he went into, I never know how to pronounce his name, Ferrigarius?
Oh, Ferragus.
Ferragus, let's just call it that. Sure, it's Ferragus.
The stride, right?
He went into Ferragus and made himself an Excel circle. In doing so, my Exterminate then started hitting for 30k plus. And so that's what won me the game there, was that 1 extra Excel circle. I was actually really worried when he rode Valios and then started striding. I went, oh god, I'm not going to be able to push for game. And they made an Excel and I'm like, nope, we're fine. In round 4, I fought a Ripple player. God, I wish I remembered his name. I have him friended on Facebook. He was a really chill dude, a really fun guy to play with. But what ended up happening was armor break for 15.
Oh my god, 15
armor
damage?
Break, 15 damage,
Wow.
He extended, he made a lot of excels, and I went, oh, I'm at 4 damage. Ride armor break, stride stunverse, activate armor break skill, perish.
Perish. You don't even need a field.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have a field anymore. His hand's like a few cards. He did have a few shields, like 1 to pass, but like, I got the trigger in the end. Anyway. It worked out in the end.
Same thing for you. You don't even need a field. You just need the Vanguard to hit at that point.
I just need the Vanguard to swing. I could leave him at 1 damage and be fine. In round 5, I fought against a Superior Ride Eradicator variant going first. So he went first, and he had the whole Superior Ride ready to go. He stun-versed me twice, he VSR'd me twice, my hand was looking small, but I held on to 1 card in my hand. 1 card in my hand I held on to the whole game, and I'm like, as long as this is in my hand, I got a chance to win. And as soon as he had 4 front row open and a 5-card hand, I went, Ride armor break. We got this. That was once again armor break for game right there. In round 6, this was very interesting. I fought the Gurgit player who got into top 8.
Okay.
And Gurgit was a really interesting matchup because it has a skill that lets you look at the top 5 and grab potentially a PG and place it on the Guardian Circle without calling from hand. Because of this, armor break might not have actually killed him. And so I never went into armor break the whole game, because if he had a PG on the top 5, I think I lost so much momentum right there. And so it was literally just me going Ride Sweep Command, Stride Exterminate, Ride Sweep Command, Stride Exterminate, Ride Sweep Command, Stride Exterminate. I did go through all 3 exterminates.
Wow.
So, it was enough to beat his hand down and stay at low damage, use my impedes wisely. It was a very back and forth fight, very fun. In round 7, Lie by Night, that name I do remember. I fought him in the last round, playing Deleter Messiah, and I was really scared because I hadn't tested that much against that matchup all that well. He did his first stride though, didn't have enough damage to do the whole combo or whatever, and it was just exterminate for game. Sadly, no defensives. But going undefeated in Swiss in my first event that I really took seriously is like, that was already a huge accomplishment enough, right? That was already like, I was like riding the waves right there. But I was worried about the undefeated in Swiss curse, you know? That as soon as you go undefeated in Swiss, you're gonna lose your first round. I'm like, I got this, I can do this. And I was excited to see that my opponent was the Superior Ride Eradicator player in top 8.
Okay,
my
so
first top 8 round was against him. He didn't get the Superior Ride despite going first. And once again, armor break for game. In round,
It is an
yeah,
Excel deck too, duh.
It is an Excel deck, so yeah.
It works in the mirror.
In top 4, Albert Huang, once again, he did his whole Ripple combo, he did all the shenanigans, he made a board. That one, armor break for game. And in our finals match, as we know, it was you and me, buddy. It was you and me, and honestly, I'll get into the emotional impact that had later, because like I want to have a whole section on that, but like that was genuinely one of the best card fights I think I've ever had in my life, man.
Definitely
no, because like you can't get more poetic, more anime than that. You really can't, right? Two guys going at it with their favorite clans, good friends, good homies, right? You can't get better than that. Talking through the whole event, hyping each other up, and it's us in the finals. You can't get better than that.
We even took a picture in it of the event like before it started, and I was like, see you in the finals. And then it actually happened, which is really cool.
It actually happened. No, that's right. It is crazy that it manifested like that, you know. But that's my tournament record. Armor break came up, as you can see, a lot of games. Even the matchups that weren't Ripple, it had an auto win against MFD. It did really well in the mirror. Like this card puts in work. And it's unfortunate that he might not be as good in the current format, but I got my mileage out of him. I'm happy, you know?
You got the best use out of it, and it did a lot of the work. One of the things that I like to do is also dive into your deck list a little more, too. I know
of course.
There's some card choices. Is there any ones that you want to like point out first?
So, a card choice I wanted to talk about mainly because I don't personally like the card, but I played it anyway because it's a good card, you know? Even if I don't like the card, if it wins me games, I gotta throw it in, is Unruly Dragon. And he's a card that I have a love-hate relationship with.
I feel you.
Because, like, objectively speaking, he's a good card.
Yeah.
Objectively speaking. But in every single bit of testing, my friends would always retire it, bind it, lock it, return it to hand, get it back in the deck. It would never stick on the board. Swing at it. Deal with it first. It would never get to use its skill. And so I'm like, this card is garbage. This card doesn't do anything. He's so bad. He also needs an Eradicator Counterblast, and none of my triggers are Eradicators, so it's like, if I'm checking defensives, he doesn't work. And so it's like, oh my gosh, he's so terrible. But he came up in MFD testing, because if you have 2 in the front row and they put a Smoke Gear up there, that's a dead Smoke Gear. That's an absolutely dead Smoke Gear. And without Smoke Gear, they might actually miss their stride on their extra turns, which that could be the difference between you losing and winning.
Yeah.
So, and in our final match, I used it to eliminate a Pursuit Assault on your Vanguard attack.
That did hurt.
Which, that is the reason I think I had any semblance of winning right there. He put in so much work in the event, and now I'm kind of starting to like the card again. So I'm like, okay, I like him now. He's cool. We're cool now, buddy. You and I are cool now. And I don't feel bad for buying, you hear this correctly, 12 copies of him when he started becoming good.
Might as well pick him up just in case.
Yeah, no, I meant to buy 4 and I accidentally somehow got 12. I sort of got I meant to get 4. Wow. I did pay for all 12 of them, so I'm like, oops, I guess I have 12 now.
Oh, so you didn't just like benefit, you actually bought all 12.
No, I actually paid for, I mean, the prices, they're now 10 a piece, so I did benefit. I got them for like 80 cents, I want to say, or something.
You could sell them or have extras in your other Narukami decks too, so it's all to you.
I did sell one playset at the regional. I did sell one playset, so I did make a nice 40 there. Yep.
Nice. I noticed that you play the Esperiata. Did that come up at all?
It came up a lot, actually. Every time I was striding into Exterminate, I had an Esper idea ready to go.
Oh, that's like the best play.
It plus Cho-Oh is... So you run 5 restanders in the deck, because math speaks that the Cho-Ohs are searchable, and you have a lot of draw power, so you'll probably see at least one Esper idea. You'll have 2 restanders, and so if you have one Excel Circle, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attacks, all with the Exterminate numbers. That's a huge tempo swing.
It is.
Even if you don't kill them, their hand is dwindled.
It hurts.
It really does hurt to fight against the other side of that. But Esper Idea came up a lot, especially because it's a 13k base, and so on an Excel Circle, it's hitting magic numbers against Force decks.
No, that's big. Anything else that you want to point out from your deck?
I want to say the MVP of the deck was absolutely Mighty Bolt. Mighty Bolt was the guy that he carried this in. He's a grade 3 searcher. He's such a simple card, but he carried it because he has 3 applications that are all very important. Application 1, he searches Heal Guardians. And these are the most powerful cards in your deck because they give you access to defensive triggers, impedes, and bulwarks. All 3 of these are incredibly powerful power plays on the opponent's turn that can be the difference between you living or dying. The second thing it does is search armor break. That comes up a lot. That matters a lot. And because of that, I was able to have access to armor break basically every game. Even if I didn't use him, he was stride fodder. I had access to him if I needed him. And the third thing is, he's a 13k booster on your armor break pushes. So if you call him behind your armor break, that adds an additional 13k power to your armor break that's already swinging. So let's say your armor break hits hypothetical 72k power, right?
Yeah.
If you're boosting with a Mighty Bolt, now it's hitting for 85.
Yep.
And if you use a crit trigger, now it's hitting for 95.
Absurd.
So it's absurd amounts of power. The Mighty Bolt was, as a result, always called behind the Vanguard because every time I use armor break, I had a Mighty Bolt there to support him.
No, that makes a lot of sense, especially since you're trying to make as big as possible just in case they do have the shield value. Did anybody stop it, or everybody just took it?
No one stopped an armor break. Once the armor break resolved, the game was over.
Wow.
Every single time it worked.
Do you remember what was your weakest and what was your strongest swings? Or no?
Oh god, my strongest swing was like 115k, I want to say. It was against the guy who gave me like all those excels for the 14 critical. I think that was my biggest swing actually. And my smallest swing, it was just like a 50k, you know, like a 55k against MFD. But because they had no shield value, the number there doesn't matter. It's the fact that it's swinging for 5 critical. So that was the smallest. Yeah, the smallest armor breaks I made were like the ones where they didn't have any excels.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes huge numbers. It's just ridiculous. I was curious, so I figured I'd ask.
Oh yeah, no, people love to ask me like, how big did your armor break get? I'm like, 115, dude. That's how big my boy was.
So funny. Another question that I wanted to ask, you know, once the event was over, like, did you take some time to celebrate or maybe reflect on anything like that?
You were there with me, my guy. You were there with me as we went to go get some Giordano's.
You were in my car too.
Oh yeah, I drove with you, man. It was an absolutely, I mean, celebratory Giordano's is absolutely, I want to say, the highlight of the weekend. Because you had Outer Orange there at my table, you had all my friends who were there supporting me and pushing me to go beyond my limits there with me. You had Michael from Team Best Girl, my testing partner, there with me. You had Andrew, I believe, one of the judges decided to join us.
Yeah, I
as
saw
well.
that.
Yeah, he and I talked about how I almost actually failed deck check. He was like, you were this close, dude. You were this close to failing deck check. I'm like, yeah, I know. It was kind of terrifying. TLDR, manufacturing issue. All of my healed triggers were scuffed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so it did, in fact, I can understand where they were like, he's absolutely cheating. He's totally cheating. There's no way it's those 3 cards. And I'm like, I swear to God, it's a manufacturing error. I sorted my deck before sleeving it. Please, I beg of you, give me a second chance.
Yeah, it's so scary because you did nothing wrong, you know? And it's just
I did nothing wrong, man. I did nothing wrong whatsoever.
Right.
It was, but no, he was a really cool guy to hang out with. And I remember actually, they brought out the pizza for us and the waitress asked, are we celebrating a special occasion? And I'm like, do I want to explain to her how a card game regional works? It's like, and Michael went, oh, it's Ty's birthday. I'm like, no, the fuck it ain't. Stop it, Michael. It is not my birthday. And then Orange started singing happy birthday to me. And the whole table joined.
They were already
Michael,
committed.
Stop, please. I think Orange sang happy birthday to me 3 times that dinner. So now it's a joke that whenever I join any of her voice calls and I'm like, and whenever I say anything to like tease at Orange or poke at Orange, she'll just sing happy birthday and the whole voice chat will join in. I'm just like, I can't believe this is a thing now. Why?
It's like birthday boy. It's like, he gets
I'm always the birthday boy.
It's like he gets 2 birthdays a year.
Yeah, no, I get, yeah, it's my top birthday and my actual birthday, you know? But that was absolutely like, it took a minute for me to realize that like I qualified for Worlds at my first top. That's like a huge deal for me, right? Because I'm absolutely confident in my skills as a player. My lack of tops is just I don't travel much. I only really have regionals in Chicago once a year, and the last regionals I went to, I wasn't as skilled or experienced as I am now. And so I finally got that chance to, you know, prove that I know what I'm thinking and I know what I'm talking about and that I love this game and that I really put time in this game. It was a great feeling to have. I think I was like emotionally just at like up here the whole day afterwards.
Oh yeah, you definitely were. Like your enthusiasm was great.
You had people in the hotel lobbies that just wanted to like come up to me and just play test with me, and like it was a cool feeling, you know? I got to be the celebrity for like a good 5 minutes. But what really like got to me was like that all of my friends, right? all the people in Orange's server, all the people that were there with me. My girlfriend wanted to come with me to regional, but she got COVID actually a few days before, and so she couldn't make it. And so she's much better now.
Good.
I saw her yesterday. She's doing great right now. But she was texting me every second she had. I told her she needed to rest and take care of herself, but she couldn't help but text me every 5 minutes. How's it going? Are you winning? How are you doing? I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Please tell me you're winning. I'm like, she's really stressing out over me when she should be resting. And like, the fact I didn't let any of them down, that's the best part of that weekend.
It's a good feeling. It's something internal too, because like, wow, like it just feels really good after you've done it.
Oh yeah, no, it's still kind of settling in for me. It's still, even 1 week later, I still can't believe it sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if you had this feeling too, but I woke up the next day and I was like, did that really happen?
Yeah, no, right? Yeah. I went and I'm like, I'm about to play V. I already have my Worlds invite though. Like, do I really want to play V? I was like, I don't know. I want to play Vanguard, but I want to just have fun with V today. And I did. I went in with
that's good.
Like, I went in with Shar Amun. I had a fun time. I didn't really care too much about my games because I already did it. And so I could just relax and take care of myself. But then after a few of my rounds, someone said, you know, Ty, if you win this, you get a free hotel room. And I went, I need to win this event now. I need the free hotel room. Come on, guys, let's go.
Yeah, that's right. Because there's only one sponsored invite.
Yeah.
I wish there would have been the top two.
I wish it would have been the top two too. I mean, hey, listen, I'm sure that like the hotel room they give you is like only meant for one person, and like I have 5 people who want a room with me.
I know, right?
So like I'm fine paying for a hotel room at this point.
Yeah, same here. Like I'm thinking of bringing my wife, so it's just the 2 of us at least. But with the top 4, I felt like they should do top 4 get invites, and then top 2 get paid. Because
4th place has always like been the joke of the tops, right? 4th place is like, you get your picture taken, and you get announced on the stage, but you get no prizes.
Yeah,
it's like, come on, give 4th place some prizes.
Yeah, we were supposed to get certificates, but they didn't have it on hand. So then, Albert didn't have anything, so he was just in the photo. You know, it's like, man,
he was just like, hey, I'm here, guys.
I was like, I wish he would have gotten invited too. Because he's a good player.
I do wish that top 2, not totally not biased or anything, but I think top 2 should have sponsored invites.
Yeah, I would have.
I'm not biased or anything. Nope, absolutely not. Nope.
Speaking of that, did you want to talk about your emotional moment at the finals?
Oh yeah. I think that it's the most fitting thing ever. As someone who, as I'm sure a lot of viewers know, has been fighting for the banning of the overtrigger since the mechanic was revealed. Screaming about it on Facebook, yelling about it on Twitter, fighting people on Twitch, arguing over its existence all day, every day, because I want that thing gone. It only be fitting that that is how I go out. But it is honestly, I feel like that overtrigger, it really didn't impact me or hurt me that much. Because think of it, right? You and I are 2 very, very strong, very, I don't know about accomplished for me. That was my first accomplishment.
High caliber.
High caliber card fighters and having a good time in finals. 2 friends, I want to say evenly matched, ready to go at each other, having a good time. I think that it would have come down to trigger luck at that point. And so if I'm going to lose to an overtrigger, I wouldn't have it any other way than in the finals against a worthy opponent, you know?
Yeah.
And so it really didn't hurt me that much to have that hit me. The emotions of, oh man, I'm losing, were instead taken up by, I got second.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Like, I'm happy with what it happened. If I was gonna lose, I'm happy to be this is how I lose. Was there any misplay I did? Doesn't matter. I'm having a good time.
Yeah,
I got my invite and I'm happy that I got it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you had this moment, but once I won my top 4 match, that's when it started sinking in for me.
Oh yeah, no. I remember the exact moment that I went, hi mate, you got it? You're like, yeah, I got it. I'm like, oh my God, it's us in the finals.
And I was like,
God, it's us in the finals.
I was so excited because I was like, okay, I'm either facing Albert or Ty, but I don't know who's gonna win. They're both good players.
Yeah.
And it's just funny how you're like so enthusiastic about it. Like,
I was so hyped, man. I remember that moment we went to go get water before the match. That was probably one of the best moments of the whole event right there, man. It was like two opponents ready to walk into a ring like, we going down, brother.
No, I appreciate you. It was basically at the point where it's like, hey, we're both qualified for Worlds. Yep. Let's just have fun and let the best man win it all at that point. So that's what's really cool. That was one of the best. That was one of the
highlights of the event. Absolutely. That was one of the highlights of the weekend. Absolutely.
Yeah, one of the things that I'll mention with the overtrigger too, it wasn't like you lost to something where like you were clearly winning, and then I hit a defensive OT or something that really would have.
It was really close to the very end. Yeah, it was so close.
And it's crazy because with Narukami, like I was going second, right? I knew that I had to build a lot of advantage. So as soon as I wrote Genovius, I went into stride. I didn't build any Excel circles.
Yep.
The whole armor break dragon, that was just like, oh, good thing I didn't do that, because that would have been worse, you know? So after that, it was...
Good thing I did not extend.
right. And at that point, it was just like, okay, we're just going back and forth until somebody breaks. And that's how it ended up.
It really was just you go back and forth until someone gets the right card, and I feel like that's the way Vanguard was meant to be played, you know?
I truly believe
that was the most Vanguard of all Vanguard
It really
games,
was.
you know?
Which is really cool. Anything else you want to share on that, or should we continue?
I mean, the final match was like, that was a moment right there. Like, you cannot, I said it earlier, you cannot get any more anime than that match. You really can't. You got two buddies going against each other, both playing their clans of choice, both fighting the way they want to, both clawing their way to the top. You got a whole crowd. You got people reacting, giggling when you were reading the armor break. You could hear that. You could hear like the little tiny, oh yeah, is he gonna do it? He's gotta. Oh, he's making that play. You could hear the when the overtrigger was shown. Like, it was the most anime thing on the planet. And I think that younger Ty would have absolutely been honored, especially because younger Ty's first deck when he got back into the game in like late G was a really crappy Eradicator deck with Descendant as the ride target, using the Descendant stride. You know, the garbage one.
Yeah.
Considering that was his first deck and that's how he got back into G after hearing that Chaos was coming back, he would have been more than happy to see that that's how the final match of that regional went. And I really cannot exaggerate, cannot tell you how amazing and how blessed of an experience that was.
Yeah, same here, and I appreciate you even coming from you at that point too, because sometimes some people don't know how to take a loss and see it in the positive. Yeah, you know, and I'm sure.
I mean, I got my invite, bro.
Right, you're right. You're going to Worlds, right?
Yeah,
and maybe you win the whole thing at that point in January. You know.
Yeah. Hey, honestly, I'm gonna be aiming for it. I'm gonna be aiming to get my salty run back at January. You know.
As you should.
Listen. Okay, I need you to do me a favor. You got to get to the finals too, so that you and I can have that replay and I can get my salty run back, okay?
And
then at the end of it, I'll say, all right, now we're even.
Now we're even. It's like, I got you.
I got you, bro.
Awesome, man. That's really cool too. You know, one of the things that I like to do to give viewers, you know, to take away from the interview too, is like, you know, what is something in your eyes that you see that may be holding people back from topping, and what would you recommend to help them get through that?
There are three things I want to give advice on.
Yeah, go for it.
I think I messaged you about them earlier, but I want to repeat them.
Yeah, go for it.
The first things first is don't be discouraged when you're testing. Testing is the perfect time to lose, and it's when you should be losing. Your friends and your testing partners are there to stress you and break you and mold you into the card fighter that's going to win that event. Their goal is to beat you so that when you fight a less knowing player, you know exactly what to do. The people you're testing with know your deck inside and out. They know the strategies you're going for. They know exactly how to counter you, and they're going to use all of those against you, and you should be honored for that. You should be very happy that those people are showing you exactly how a psychic opponent, I like to call them, a psychic opponent would fight you. And that way, when you're fighting not psychic opponents, you have that much more of a chance because your opponent does not read your mind and does not know what you're up to.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
The second thing I want to give an advice on is take it one game at a time. This is the advice I gave, totally not bragging or anything, but this is the advice I gave to Orange before she went undefeated in Swiss, so the advice may or may not work, but just take it one game at a time. Your goal walking into a regional is to win one game. You want to win your round one game. Did you do that? Great. Now aim for 2 games. Did you do that? Great. Now aim for 3 games. Did you go undefeated to make top 8? Great, you made top 8. Now just fight your hardest in top 8. If you win, you win. If you lose, you made top 8.
Right.
Did you win your top 8 game? Great, you're in top 4. And you keep that mentality going. Don't set a goal for yourself that you haven't even gotten close to achieving yet. You want to take it one step at a time. If you put all that burden on your shoulders, it's gonna weigh on you through every single game, and you're gonna stress yourself out when making all these little tiny decisions like 5k to guard or 10k to guard. Do I guard here or do I guard there? Do I bank on a defensive or do I play it safe? All of those little decisions will be completely changed based off of how you're seeing the game you're playing. And the third thing I want to say is really hype yourself up. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to come off as egotistical. No, you need to be as egotistical as humanly possible the hours before an event happens. You need to hype yourself up. I'll tell you right now, the day before and my friends can vouch for this. I swear to God this happened. The hour before I went down, I told myself, I'm gonna go take a shower. I'm gonna get myself nice and clean. I'm gonna get ready. And I took a brush, took out my phone, played Make a Man Out of You from Mulan, and sang the whole lyrics into the hairbrush as I was showering.
Such a good song.
Hyping myself up, getting ready to fight. And as I walked to the venue, I played Thunderstruck from AC/DC, getting in that Narukami mood. And I told myself, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna fight, I'm better than everyone in this room, I'm gonna get him. Hype yourself up. Really, I do mean that. Not to the point where, like, if you lose, you feel bad, right? But, like, hype yourself up and really get yourself in the card fighting mood. Really give yourself a chance to shine. Don't tell yourself, oh, I'm gonna go, I mean, I might win, I might not win. No, you're gonna win. It's all about that mindset, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, for some people, like, it may be just a pep talk. It might be just
maybe just a pep talk from your friends.
Yeah.
Anything to get you in the mood, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's music, pep talk, yoga, push-ups, if you're crazy enough, pull-ups,
whatever.
If you're
moving.
insane, I don't know, go lift a car or two. Just get yourself in the mood and, like, really do what makes you excited.
Yeah, because, like, sometimes people, it's like you said, they don't want to hype themselves too much because what if they lose? Or they feel like they come off as arrogant, but it's just like, you know, what's your expectation? Like, are you there to top 8 or are you there to win it all? Like, what is your expectation? And your attitude should line up with that, you know? You don't have to be rude, but what you did is
you don't have to don't go into the event and be like, I'm better than all you clowns. Like, freaking keep that to yourself.
Right.
But, like, just tell yourself, like, you can take these guys.
Exactly.
These guys cannot challenge you. You got this. You can win. You can fight. You can do it. And really just, like I said, hype yourself up. You are the main character in your story this time. And remember, Aichi didn't win his first nationals, so if you don't, it's okay.
That's true. That's a really good point. There you go. The anime reference right there.
The anime reference. There you go. I got it in there. We did it eventually.
The one thing that you said about, like, one round at a time, super key. One game at a time. That's the same mentality I use. It's like when you could just focus on the game that you're currently playing, you're able to put your 100% effort into it, and then you realize that you have more inside you for the next round. Yeah. And you just keep repeating that, and you forget where you're at, in the sense, like when I was in top 8, top 4 in the finals, well, it was a lot easier in top 8 and top 4, but it was just like, I'm just playing at a table against somebody, and I'm just focused on this one game. Because sometimes even when people are like, oh crap, I'm in top 8, I don't want to lose, that's when it breaks into their head, you know, that kind of thing too.
I feel like the phrase cross that bridge when you get there is very much a mentality you want to take there, you know?
That too.
You haven't even gotten to the bridge yet. Focus on the bridge you're about to cross.
Right.
If the bridge up ahead is broken and you can't cross it, worry about that when you get there, right?
Absolutely.
If that game if round 7 just isn't your round, so what? You're at round 1, right? Worry about getting to round 7 before you worry about round 7. Round 1 is your current priority, so you want to take it one game at a time. If someone, I really do, I want to, like, give a shout out to all the card fighters back at Rosemont that I met.
Yeah, go for it.
That came up to me and we were talking about our records, and all of them said, like, they were like, oh, I went X3. I'm like, oh man, sorry about that, man. They were like, nope, it's fine. I card fighted my hardest. I gave it my all. X3 is my record. That's how I'm gonna go with it, right? These guys really know how to take a loss when they take one, right? I want to see him at top tables next year, but for that event, they really did encourage me. They were like, because it did remind me, this is just a game at the end of the day, right? Like, it's a competition and I'm here to win, but these guys are having fun no matter what. And it's really admirable and really cool that, like, people, win or lose, are having a great time with this game.
Absolutely. That's so key. And sometimes people take it too seriously. And then that's when they're like not fun to be around.
No. I'll tell you this right now. Going X2 and V, couldn't care less. All my opponents were the coolest guys on the planet. I had an absolute blast with every single one of them. I actually fought up against a Vanquisher player who was wearing the same shirt as me. And so we sat down, we went, hey! And every single move we would make, I'd go, oh my god, dude, your shirt is so freaking cool. No guard.
No guard. That's funny. Awesome.
It's great.
With the advice too, that's really good too. And one of the things that people can use is Metafy.
Oh, yes.
Do you feel Metafy is something that you would recommend people to try out for themselves?
So me personally, so if I were financially stable, I'd be probably getting coaching from other Metafy coaches. However, I am a college student getting a master's degree, so that is not the case. But I absolutely do think if you are like thinking to yourself, do I want to do Metafy? Do I not want to do Metafy? There's a guy I know right now. His name's Logan. Not gonna dox him too much, but his name's Logan.
Okay.
He was a student of yours and Charlie's.
Yes.
Who was struggling. He told me he was struggling with the Narukami matchup.
Yep.
And I've gotten a chance to. I've done some free coaching, I'll call it. Two times with him so far. Just playing Narukami. Tell him how to beat this, how to do that, do this interaction. This matters. He's been bashing his head into a brick wall, but he's learning.
Yes.
Like Metafy coaching really does help. I can see it from him. He's really learning fast. So any new players out there, anyone who really wants to top, if you're thinking about Metafy coaching, I'll tell you right now, you're in good hands with this guy. All right.
Appreciate
you're in really good. No, this guy knows his stuff. The man knows his stuff. He's got the accomplishments to prove it. Look, is that a certificate behind you on the wall, sir? Is that a yeah, right there? Oh my gosh! Look at all of those Vanguard achievements you have.
There's
this
more
guy
on the
knows
way.
what he's talking
We still haven't gotten from that prior weekend too.
Hey, I know exactly where I'm framing mine. Somewhere along that wall. There.
It's good for the channel.
They're really good, right? But I think Metafy coaching is something that really does help, especially when you got like a really good coach, right? I personally would recommend it to anybody who wants to try it out. If you feel like you could really benefit from such a thing and you really want the expertise, I'd recommend such a thing. You've got a lot of good Metafy coaches out there. You got Derek Dow, you got Jaime here, you've got Charlie and his Tachikaze madness. You've got a lot of really good coaches out there who will help you out.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more to come too. Like, so
yeah.
I'm just hoping that the community will grow too, so you guys have more options, or even just multiple coaches too.
Oh yeah, no, having multiple coaches is good. Yu-Gi-Oh actually, to go on another tangent here,
sure.
Yu-Gi-Oh has full-time coaches that actually don't necessarily make a living, but like they make a pretty good amount of coaching, because Yu-Gi-Oh is a very complex game, and people who get Yu-Gi-Oh coaching often do end up making very high amounts of competitive success. And I'd say that Premium is reaching that point where like it's a very complex game, and it really just comes down to knowledge. Comes down to knowledge more than anything else. Yeah,
the barrier for that game is a lot harder than it is compared to Vanguard.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love my complex gameplay, but you know, I've been playing the game since it came out, so.
Yeah, everybody has different coaching. You said Logan, right?
Logan, that's my man.
He was playing Premium. He's the one from Arizona.
Yep.
I actually had multiple Logans. I just wanted to double check. And
he was on Grand Blue, if you remember that one at all.
Yeah, so I've been helping him with Grand Blue, and the last session I had, I think it was a couple of days ago after the BCS, I was playing E-Rads against him. So
there you go,
so
man.
This is how it feels to play against E-Rads, and so he can get better. I mean, you saw the improvement even from the prior sessions too. So.
Oh yeah, no, he did this really cool thing, right? If you want an idea on how Metafy coaching helps out, okay, this is something that you could have only learned this from that, right? I was playing E-Rad, I was doing the funny, I was doing the exterminate turn, I had the Chos in front row, I was ready to go, I swing exterminate. Cho is after Vanguard attack, by the way, keep that in mind. It's after the Vanguard attack you trigger the skill. If your opponent has no front row rear guards, you can restand him. So he goes, all right, Negra Lily, call Beatrice, call Greed Chain to the front row, and I go, oh god, my Chos are turned off. Oh, my Chos are turned off! I'm like, you're a new player, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, huh. That was a surprisingly really good play.
Oh yeah, I actually took some time to show him all the Negra Lily plays, and it's just it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, Negra Lily is a card and a house.
Yes, exactly. No, that's really good. It's cool that you see from that for yourself too, from the impact from those students too. And it doesn't have to be my students, but any students for sure.
I feel like you can also see Derek Dow's student got a second standard last weekend. You have a lot of sort of like people. I feel like I used to like laugh at the idea of Metafy. I'm like, just test with your friends, but I'm like, nope. Yep, I can see it. I can absolutely see the impact now. I have been grinched. My heart has grown 3 sizes. My mood on it has changed. You know.
No, it's always good to hear, because I mean, it's something new for the Vanguard community, so they're not too sure.
Oh yeah.
And which is understanding. So it's just seeing from other people and seeing for themselves. It's really what they value at. But anyway, just to wrap up the interview, is there any shout outs that you want to make?
I have a few shoutouts actually.
Go for it.
I said them in my video, but I want to give them again because I feel like they're really. First of all, the biggest 2 shoutouts I can give. Shoutouts to Sage from MCC. Shoutouts to Michael from Team Best Girl. Sage for giving me that armor break tech and helping me deck tech and talking Eradicator theory with me for I want to say a few months.
Nice.
And shoutouts to Michael for beating my face into the ground for 5 hours the day before the event, just showing me, oh no, you have to worry about this. I will say, it was a really good time to test with him. He and I have been like online, I want to say acquaintances for a bit, but now, yeah, me and him are absolutely homies. Shoutouts to, I want to say, Orange's server, the Peels. They've also been really helpful with testing with me. And I remember every single time I said like, oh, I'm in this. I remember the amount of people posting the Goku give me your energy gifts.
Yes.
Every single time I said I was in top 8 or I was in top 4. Every time I said that, the energy gifts, they came flooding in. Absolutely lovely people. I want to give a shout out to all my friends. You got Jake, the guy who roomed with me. You got my friends Jay and Yun, my really, really good friends. I'd do anything for those guys. Shout out to Yun for going X2 with a deck you've never played before. He played Ripples. He never played Ripples in his life. He learned as he went and went X2. Shout outs to that guy. He knows his stuff. I want to give a shout out to David and Michael, the other Michael Seekers, for also playing and testing with me and just being really supportive friends. And shout outs to all the judges at BCS, all those guys. They were running. It was a really well run event.
Really well done.
I think one of the smoothest events I've ever been to since I don't know how long. Really, really, really positive stuff. And I think the biggest shout out, Jessica, babe, you should have been resting while you were cheering me on, sweetheart. I swear that all that is holy. The idea of you cheering me on despite that, it wanted me to make you proud. Aww. Hope I did, sweetie.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Anybody else? Or that's it for now?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, fine. Since you want a shout out, Jaime, shout out to Jaime Alvarez for being a really cool last round opponent. Shout outs to this guy.
No, I'm just saying, like, it sounded like you have more. It's like, you keep them going. Some people have like a whole list. And I was like,
no, I think that covers basically. Okay. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to mention Karan. That man was really pushing me to the top there. He also, especially after I topped, man's been talking to me about premium theory and like giving me like, watch out for this deck, watch out for this deck. Like, I can tell man's really gonna well and help me out with Worlds. He's already offered to help me out training for Worlds, and so Karan, I'm ready, buddy. I'm ready, buddy.
That's a good partner. Nice. Yeah, definitely shout out to him. We could have been the dream team. You know,
bro, what could have been? What could have been, man?
I know.
What could have been, man? I had, bro. We were literally all 3 on like our main clans too.
It was Vanquisher, Rabon, and then Luard. Or no, Claret. Yeah, Claret.
Yeah. I think he was. Was he on Claret or was he gonna be a Mordred? I don't remember, but like, I think he was on some Shadow Paladin list.
I think so.
But like
anyway.
all of, three guys on their best clans except for me. Narukami is my second favorite clan, but as I've stated, Link Joker will never be good. It's the Bushiroad policy that Chaos is never allowed to get good support. So if you're watching this, Bushi, maybe you should change that and give me back Zinc.
Zinc is a good card, actually. Yep.
I mean, she did nothing wrong, man.
No, she did not. She gave you resources.
She gave. Awesome. All she did was give me free resources. It's fine.
That's what you needed, actually. You needed soul, you needed counter, you name it. Anyway, where can people find you?
I am on 3 places mainly. You can either find me on YouTube at TySenseiSama if I ever decide to post, because sometimes YouTube doesn't respect my one post every cycle of the moon upload schedule. So you can find me there if you want to I'm trying to get a series started once I get the equipment ready, where I talk about your favorite trading card games, the mechanics within, the stuff you can find. It's nowhere near ready, but when it's ready, it's gonna be big. I got like 17 episodes of just, I'm gonna call it So You Want to Make a Trading Card Game. I've got a degree in game design and I'm gonna use it. The second place you can find me at is Twitter, at TySenseiSama, where I'm either doing one of 3 things. Either A, posting crappy memes that my friend Tyler sends to me, B, yelling about Vanguard and talking about how Eradicator is the best deck. It's really not. Or 3, posting some of my art. I like to draw. I like to do things like Photoshop. I love making and creating and doing all that artistic stuff. So if you're interested in my, let's call them acceptable art skills, you can find them on Twitter. And the third place is, I'll send you a link for this because actually I hold a server called Project G Boot, where if you ever want to play some games of G era, the old-fashioned days before the reboot, before the split, we have a custom ban list to make sure it's not as toxic as the end of G. You know, sometimes
it got out of hand
Rene and
a bit.
Ange can be a little silly. But we have a ban list to keep it nice and level for the most part. And we like to hold tournaments every month. And rounds are 3 days long, so time zones aren't a problem. If you want to play G era or you want to learn about G era, I highly recommend joining that server. It is a fantastic time. And I love Modern Vanguard, don't get me wrong, but G era is the only era of Vanguard I can play Chaos and not get raffle stomped in.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously going to play it.
Might as well take advantage of it. No, that's really cool.
Yeah, you know? I can play 4 Zinc in that format and not be told that's illegal. So I'm going to do such things.
Might as well take advantage of it. Yep.
Yep,
Awesome.
But that's where you can find me, or you'll find me lurking around on other Vanguard servers, mainly Oranges, as Ty Smith from Facebook, because that's apparently my full name. Smith isn't my last name. From Facebook is my last name.
That's funny. Not copyright, you know? Trademark.
Not copyright, yeah. It's like Tom from MySpace. It's just Ty Smith from Facebook.
That's funny. MySpace. It's been a while. Some people don't even know MySpace.
Bro, I barely remember MySpace. I barely remember MySpace.
That's crazy.
I'm like on the brink of remembering MySpace.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for hopping on, Ty Smith. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, as always.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on your first place finish, my guy.
You. I appreciate
really
that.
well fought, really well deserved. I couldn't think of anyone else to lose to that I'd be happy with, you know?
I
Absolutely
appreciate
cool
that.
stuff. Absolutely cool stuff.
Thanks again. And for amigos,
Rest in peace, Odysseus.
Rest in peace,
my man.
right?
Rest in peace to the man, all right?
Without further ado, on to the next one, amigos. See ya. Bye.
See yas. I was the Vanquisher guy, yeah.
Get out of here. He was
Yeah,
gonna
that was
play-
me.
He was gonna play Claret, and I was gonna play Revon.
Yeah, I was on Vanquisher.
Oh my god, we would have been a team.
Yeah, exactly. We would have topped, bro.
Oh, we would have been solid. Oh my god.
We would have won the whole thing. We never would have lost a single game, I'm telling you, man.
That's insane. Such a small world. You might even say that for the interview too. That's funny.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
right?
really funny.